Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the mountains and seas, there was a hidden kingdom called Elaria. Elaria was unlike any other kingdom, for it floated in the sky, resting on the clouds. The people of Elaria were kind-hearted and wise, living in harmony with nature and the magic that filled their world. The kingdom was ruled by Queen Seraphina, a just and noble ruler, who had a special connection with the magical creatures that inhabited the skies. Queen Seraphina had a daughter named Princess Elaria. Elaria was brave, adventurous, and loved to explore the world beyond the kingdom's borders. She had a special friend, a majestic golden eagle named Zephyr, who would accompany her on her journeys. Together, they would fly over mountains, glide above the oceans, and dive through the thick clouds that surrounded Elaria. One day, as Princess Elaria and Zephyr were flying far beyond the familiar lands, they encountered a thick, swirling mist that obscured their vision. Despite Zephyr's sharp eyes, they couldn't see anything beyond the fog. Suddenly, the mist began to pull them in, and no matter how hard Zephyr flapped his wings, they couldn't escape. The mist swallowed them whole, and when it finally cleared, they found themselves in a strange, dark land they had never seen before. The land was barren and cold, with no signs of life. The sky was a dull gray, and the trees were twisted and bare. Elaria felt a chill run down her spine as she looked around. "Where are we, Zephyr?" she whispered, but Zephyr could only screech softly in reply, equally bewildered by their surroundings. As they wandered through the eerie landscape, they came across a tall, shadowy figure standing by a dried-up riverbed. The figure was cloaked in black, with a hood that obscured its face. Princess Elaria approached cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. The figure slowly turned to face her, revealing a pair of glowing red eyes beneath the hood. "I am the guardian of the forgotten," the figure said in a voice that echoed like the wind through a hollow cave. "You have entered the land of shadows, a place where lost things dwell, forgotten memories, forsaken dreams, and abandoned kingdoms." Elaria's eyes widened in surprise. "Abandoned kingdoms? Are there others like Elaria here?" The guardian nodded. "Once, this land was filled with vibrant kingdoms, just like Elaria. But they were consumed by greed, anger, and despair. Their people forgot the magic that sustained them, and their lands fell into ruin, lost forever in the mists." Princess Elaria's heart ached for the lost kingdoms, but she was determined not to let Elaria suffer the same fate. "Please, guardian, tell me how I can return to Elaria. I must protect my kingdom from falling into this darkness." The guardian gazed at her with its piercing red eyes, as if searching her soul. "There is only one way to escape the land of shadows," it finally said. "You must find the 3 lost treasures, the Heart of Light, the Mirror of Truth, and the Crown of Wisdom. These treasures were once the pride of the greatest kingdoms, and together, they hold the power to restore what has been lost." Elaria felt a flicker of hope. "Where can I find these treasures?" "They are hidden in the deepest parts of this land, guarded by the spirits of the forgotten kings and queens who once ruled here," the guardian explained. "But be warned, Princess Elaria, the path to each treasure is fraught with danger, and you must prove yourself worthy to claim them." With a determined nod, Elaria accepted the challenge. She mounted Zephyr, and together they set off in search of the first treasure, the Heart of Light. Their journey took them to a dark, twisted forest where the trees seemed to whisper warnings in the wind. In the heart of the forest, they found a massive tree, its bark black as coal and its branches reaching up like skeletal fingers. At its base, a stone pedestal held a glowing crystal heart, the Heart of Light. As Elaria reached out to take the heart, the ground trembled, and a ghostly figure appeared before her. It was the spirit of an ancient queen, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Why do you seek the Heart of Light?" she asked, her voice filled with the echoes of centuries past. "I seek it to save my kingdom," Elaria replied. "Elaria must not fall into darkness like the kingdoms that came before it." The queen's spirit studied Elaria for a moment before nodding. "Very well, but to claim the Heart of Light, you must prove your own heart is pure. Speak a truth that you fear." Elaria hesitated. What was the truth she feared most? After a moment of reflection, she spoke, her voice trembling with emotion. I fear that I may not be strong enough to protect Elaria. I fear that I will fail my people, just as the rulers of the lost kingdoms did. The queen's spirit smiled, her sorrow lifting. Your honesty and courage have proven your worthiness. Take the heart of light, and may it guide you on your journey. With the heart of light in her possession, Arya and Zephyr continued their quest, flying over desolate mountains and across endless plains until they reached the shimmering lake of reflections. The waters of the lake were still and clear, like a perfect mirror. In the center of the lake, floating on a small island, was the mirror of truth. As Arya approached the island, the lake's surface rippled, and another spirit emerged, a king, his face lined with wisdom. To claim the mirror of truth, you must look into it and face the deepest part of your soul, the king's spirit said. Arya steeled herself and gazed into the mirror. At first, she saw only her reflection, but then the image began to change. She saw herself as a young child, lonely and afraid, longing for her mother who had passed away when she was just a baby. Tears welled up in Arya's eyes as she faced the pain she had buried deep within her heart. But then, the image shifted again, showing her surrounded by her people, her father, and Zephyr, all looking at her with love and trust. Arya realized that she was not alone, that her strength came not just from herself, but from those who believed in her. The king's spirit nodded approvingly. You have faced your truth and emerged stronger. The mirror of truth is yours. With two of the treasures in hand, Arya and Zephyr flew to the final destination, a towering, crumbling castle at the edge of the world. Inside the castle's great hall, on a pedestal encrusted with dust and cobwebs, sat the crown of wisdom. As they entered, the spirit of an old king appeared, his presence commanding and regal. To claim the crown of wisdom, you must answer a riddle, the king's spirit declared. What is the greatest strength of a ruler? Arya thought deeply, considering everything she had learned on her journey. Finally, she answered, the greatest strength of a ruler is the ability to listen, to their people, to their own heart, and to the world around them. Only by listening can they truly understand and lead with wisdom. The king's spirit smiled, his form beginning to fade. You have answered wisely, Princess Arya. The crown of wisdom is yours. With all three treasures, the heart of light, the mirror of truth, and the crown of wisdom, Arya and Zephyr made their way back through the land of shadows. As they neared the mist that had first brought them there, the treasures began to glow with a brilliant light, dispelling the darkness and clearing the way. They flew through the mist, and when it cleared, they were back in the familiar skies of Elaria. The kingdom was safe and untouched, but Arya knew that her journey had changed her. She was no longer just the adventurous princess, she was a guardian, a protector of her people and her kingdom. Upon her return, Arya presented the treasures to her mother, Queen Seraphina, who embraced her with pride. You have proven yourself to be a true leader, my daughter, the queen said. With these treasures, Elaria will remain a beacon of light and hope for all time. From that day on, Princess Arya was known as the guardian of Elaria. She ruled with wisdom, guided by the lessons she had learned on her journey. The kingdom continued to flourish, its people living in peace and harmony, knowing that their princess had the strength and courage to protect them from any darkness that might come their way. And so, the tale of the lost kingdom of Elaria became a legend, told for generations as a story of bravery, wisdom, and the power of a pure heart to overcome even the greatest of challenges. The end.